The colours are absolutely coming through now.
So here I am on Raven Crag, which is above Thirlmere in the Lake District. It's a spectacular location, just an absolute stunning view of Lake Thirlmere itself with the surrounding valley. And what I was doing here was basically getting set up for the next day. The evening was, I mean, the weather was fantastic, but it was not going to be anything dramatic for evening sunset. So my time was best spent scouting around for compositions for the next morning based on where the sunlight would hit, and obviously in low lighting conditions, pre-dawn conditions, it's not always easy to see what's in your frame and what's not in your frame. And so I always find it best to just spend that time that you've got on the evening just scouting around for different compositions, so you're not rushing on the morning, especially when it's partially dark. and you're tired and this, that and the other. So that's what I tend to do on the evening, and it kills a bit of time.
Well, good morning. Don't expect anything coherent from me this morning, as I had a bit of a rough night. Well, here we are, high above Raven Crag on Thirlmere, and you can just see the morning light there, just coming through the reds and oranges. But as I say, I bivied down there last night, and the stars were fantastic, and I actually saw what was the best shooting star I've ever seen. It was just absolutely amazing. Right, easy done. Oh, half that, 20 seconds. I don't think that histogram was very accurate, to be fair. Right, that's better. That's spot on. Yeah, in preview mode there. See, that's telling me 30 seconds that the histogram is right the way back there, and the highlights are totally protected. But actually, when you're setting away at 30 seconds, it's blown the highlights out. So I don't know whether this is a fault with the histogram or just because it's too dark. I'm not sure. But I captured quite a bit of colour in there. It'll look half decent. Interesting shot, just of the sunrise. I mean, the colours are absolutely coming through now. And in actual fact, we had a bit of a mackerel sky this morning, but that's disappeared. Because I was hoping we could get a pink sky right across there where the clouds were, but you can never guarantee these things. So there's absolutely stacks of campers down there. But I've had this place to myself. I've had this lake to myself. Completely to myself all night. That's been fantastic. So as you can see, we're perched right high above here. Raven Crag. There's a fair drop off there. And it's exactly where I need to be to take this shot down here of this tree. seem to be moving that ever so closer to that edge to get this shot that I want. Anyhow, let's have a go here. I'll do this for 15 seconds. Obviously I know I've got the stem right up there, fully extended, which is not ideal for stabilisation, but that's just, there's a slight flicker there that it's overexposed, but because we're looking at the JPEG, that'll be fine in RAW. So I'm going to do a 30-second exposure here, just because I would like to isolate those trees, but I can't. So I'm getting the ground that slopes away to the right there, and it's looking a bit soft because it's right on the edge of the frame. With this lens is not, it tends to be soft anyhow. And I did have it on f11, but I've now put it on f18 just to see if I can get that any sharper. And to be fair, I think it's as sharp as it's going to get. With the restrictions of this lens. But yeah, there's still a few pinks and oranges. I don't know what you can actually make out on this, but there's still a few pinks and oranges on the sky, and the moon's still out up there. But like I say, it'll take a while for this sun to penetrate into the valley because it's got these mountains to clear yet. But anyhow, this is a nice little pitch up here. I think I'm going to leave that camera there. I think it'll be alright. It's not exactly too windy. But yeah, it's a nice little pitch. The unfortunate thing is that people come up here setting fires. And unfortunately, when you do stuff like that in places like this, it takes ages for the grass and the area to recover, and the higher up you go, the worse it is. So, but it's one of the things that I see more and more. The easier of access, the more fires you get. And it's just ignorance, really, because you've got to think about you know, how unsightly it makes the place. So we're just getting some pinks in the sky there, and I don't know exactly what you can see, but it's just reflecting into the lake there. So hopefully it can capture some of that colour with the camera. But absolutely beautiful morning. Nothing dramatic, but nice all the same. be thinking, why is he not using a filter, an ND filter? Well, the reason being is I used to use them, but I don't feel the need anymore. And I know people say I need to get everything right in the camera. Well, I mean, if you're capturing all the highlights and shadows in one frame without a filter, then why do I need a filter? That's the way I look at it. Plus, the thing is, you're going to be able to see the filter there's not a clear cut horizon like you would like at a beach or something like that. You're going to be able to see the filter. And I've done the filter malarkey. I don't bother anymore. The only filter I tend to use is a polarizer. But that's it. It's easier to, in environments like mountains and stuff like that, it's easier to strip your kit down and just to have what you need to get the job done. And that's the way I look at it. And I know people will have their own ideas, and that's fine, each to their own. It's just the way I operate. First light is just hitting the tops now, ever so subtly. And it's just me and the ravens up here. So that's me about done here now. Sun coming over there, it's illuminating all this foreground. So yeah, nothing major dramatic, but it's been nice just to get out. So there's the sun coming up, and I'm just packing up now from my humble abode. I shall leave it as though I'd never been here, but a nice bit of light. So all my foreground lit up, so we'll see what I mean, nothing dramatic, you know, but a beautiful scene all the same. And it's good to get out. But it's a really excellent vantage point up here. And it would probably take you a few trips to actually capture a dramatic image. But if you don't live anywhere near the lakes, then plan the weather right, and there's the ravens. Plan the weather right, and you'll get a nice enough decent image. Like I say, it's a beautiful scene. Obviously where I've come down to here, because there's the vantage point up there, just be aware there's massive drops, so as long as you're sensible, there's no reason why you won't be safe. But obviously whenever you come here, just leave it as you found it, because there's too many people coming and setting fires and just making it look a right bit of a shithole, really. Anyhow, so that's me for the day. So there's an interesting little gill running down there. I wouldn't mind having a look over. However, getting down there could prove problematic. So we'll see. But yeah, I think there'll be some canny shots to have there. So you got the berries coming out on the rowan trees. There's a massive rowan tree down there. Well, it looks like I'm going to be leaving that waterfall to another day. Reason being, I've got a heavy pack and I would have to cut through Forestry Commission woodland to get to it going downhill, and it's just break your leg country, that. So my best bet is to come another day and come along this side here. And work my way up. Can do that with a light pack. So that looks as though that's us finished for the day. There's another rowan tree down there. Yeah, so I'll speak to you next time.